crooked. Oh, well. Okay, good. We're live on YouTube. So, I need to turn this up. And you got to remind me. I bookmarked something for you yesterday.
That's right. Thank you for saying that. You shouldn't remember it though, no, anyway.
I know that just crowded out anything else.
Yeah, you need to let it go. Let it go. And then you'll be able to let it flow for the top.
Hold on. What'd you say?
I said let it go and then you'll be able to let it flow for the top.
Yeah, that's right.
If you let mine.
Yes. I know.
That's
why I asked you to remind me about the check. There's no room for anything else in there. No room. And I asked Tom to mic I want you to have the wireless mic during the chat because you're going to have something to say, and I want everybody to be. It's good, and him too. You guys always have brilliant, genius things to say, so I want you guys mic'd so they can hear. Okay. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Is that on?
I'm supposed to be prepared.
I know. What?
What?
Tell me that seems meaningful what you just said.
I said you're not supposed to be prepared. I just look fine.
Oh, yeah, I know. Exactly. Just going to do this off to the side. All right, where are we? Is that the perfect spot? Okay, good. You found it. We should label that chair then. Perfect spot.
It's got a special.
Okay, couple minutes. And I'm going to start this one a little early too, because I haven't been doing that, and I should. So we're going to start the live video, because I always edit it anyway. So we're starting live, and we're just going live a little bit early. So hang tight, couple minutes. Okay. Oh gosh. Good morning. We're waiting. I started everybody live early this morning. YouTube, Facebook, that way it's not like curtain. We get, oh good, see? It allows people to come in a little earlier. So that's good. And then I edit it later anyway, so it doesn't matter.
The door opens at 5 too.
That's right. The door opens at 5 too. Let 'em in.
Let 'em in.
Lots of doors in my experience this week. Yeah, doors opening doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. We're just giving it a couple minutes, everybody, so come on in. Keith's project, was the big door, and we kept finding all the metaphor in that. Like, this is the beginning of, and it is. It's this big, so love the metaphors. So I think we're almost there. What time is it? Yeah, it's 10. Okay. Good morning, officially good morning. We'll just take a minute to pause and take a breath together in through our nose and out. Allowing the truth of who we are to be here now. Nothing to do or achieve, get, just this. Perfect this. Our minds and hearts are open. We will be guided toward our own wisdom and knowing. Let us begin. I took a little bit longer that time, guys, because I really needed to do it for myself. I did it for you, but I did it for me too. So, last week we talked about Wei Wu Wei. We talked about the recognition that there is a natural evolutionary impulse to the universe, and that we are not separate from that impulse, that we can live our lives in such a way that we allow the truth of who we are, and in doing that, we naturally align with that impulse, and that impulse takes us where we want to go. It takes us to all of our next steps. And today, there was a theme in all of my conversations this week, and that theme was progress, not perfection. And I have to say that I think it was one of you lovely people that said this to me very early in the week on Monday, and I believe that it's like a saying in AA. I'm not 100% sure, but I had never heard it, progress, not perfection. And when I heard it, all the bells went off, and I knew that it was really important, right? And so first, remember, we talked about last week, in order to align with this evolutionary impulse of the universe, we get in touch with our essence, the truth of who we are. And one of the ways we do that is by recognizing who we are not, right? And we talked about the ego. We had a refresher on the ego. And the ego is not bad. It's not wrong. It's just a mistake. It's just, it mistakes the thought of who you are for who you truly are. So I'm going to give us another refresher on the ego, and that is from our favorite, everybody, Michael Singer, Untethered Soul, right? And I've read this, I'm sure, we've read it here before in this arena, but it is super, super helpful. So we're going to do it again. Guys, I have allergies today, so please forgive me for continuously having water. I know that I don't have to be perfect for you. Okay. So this is chapter 3 in Untethered Soul, and I'm just going to read the first couple of pages. So, and it's called, Who Are You? Ramana Maharishi, a great teacher in the yogic tradition, used to say that to attain inner freedom, one must continuously and sincerely ask the question, who am I? He taught that this was more important than reading books, learning mantras, or going to holy places. Just ask, who am I? Who sees when I see? Who hears when I hear? Who knows that I am aware? Who am I? Let's explore this question by playing a game. And we all love this game, don't we? Make believe that you and I are having a conversation. Typically, in Western cultures, when someone comes up to you and asks, excuse me, who are you? You don't admonish them for asking such a deep question. You tell them your name. For example, Sally Smith. But I'm going to challenge this response by taking out a piece of paper and writing the letters SALLY, and then showing it to you. Is that who you are? A collection of letters? Is that who sees when you see? Obviously not. So you say, okay, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm not Sally Smith. That's just a name people call me. It's a label. Really, I'm Frank Smith's wife. I know. Let's just all take a breath and go, Okay. No way. That's not even politically correct nowadays. How could you be Frank Smith's wife? Are you saying you didn't exist before you met Frank? And would you cease to exist if he died or you got remarried? Frank Smith's wife can't be who you are. Again, that's just another label, the result of another situation or event you participated in. But then, who are you? This time you respond, okay, now you have my attention. My label is Sally Smith. I was born in 1965 in New York. I lived in Queens with my parents, Harry and Mary Jones, until I was 5 years old. Then we moved to New Jersey, and I went to Newark Elementary School. I got all A's in school, and in the 5th grade, I played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. I started dating in the 9th grade, and my first boyfriend was Joe. I went to Rutgers College, where I met and married Frank Smith. That is who I am. Wait a minute. That's a fascinating story, but I didn't ask you what has happened to you since you were born. I asked you, who are you? You've just described all these experiences, but who had these experiences? Wouldn't you still be in there, aware of your existence, even if you had gone to a different college? So you contemplate this, and you realize that never in your life have you asked yourself that question and really meant it. Who am I? That is what Ramana Maharishi was asking. So you ponder this more seriously and you say, okay, I am the body that is occupying this space. I am 5'6" and I weigh 135 pounds, and here I am. When you were Dorothy in the 5th grade play, you weren't 5'6", you were 4'6". So which are you? Are you the 4'6" person or are you the 5'6" person? Weren't you in there when you were Dorothy? You told me you were. Aren't you the one who had the experience of being Dorothy in the 5th grade play and is now having the experience of trying to answer my questions? Isn't that the same you? Perhaps we need to step back for a moment to ask some exploratory questions before returning to the core question. When you were 10 years old, didn't you look in the mirror and see a 10-year-old body? Wasn't that the same you that now sees an adult body? What you looked at has changed, but what about you, the one who is looking? Isn't there a continuity of being? Wasn't it the same being that looked in the mirror throughout the years? See, this is fun. I think for the next few weeks, I'm just going to find different ways for us to kind of shed these labels and get to the essence. So who are we, right? We are the essence. So let's take a minute, just like we did last week. We're going to take a minute to experience who we are and ask yourself the question, and then become open Okay, so let's ask ourselves, we're going to take a breath. And just in your mind, ask with me, who am I? I wonder what my next thought will be. See? That's space. That's essence. Okay, so now let's talk about progress, not perfection. So what I realized is that there are so many instances and so many cases where my ego, the mistaken thought of who I am, is waiting for an outcome of perfection from me. And what I am missing is that I am progressing the whole time. So think of the ways in which you don't allow yourself to be progressing, but rather expect perfection, the outcome of perfection. Think of the ways that you do it to other people, to relationships, right? Aren't we all agree that we're all becoming? That's a part of the human experience, right? Isn't a part of the human experience flaws? So in order to have a perfect human experience, wouldn't we be flawed? Right? I love these questions. I have more. You want me to ask you some more? Okay, so this is what I wanted to say. I recognize, we'll start here. Okay, so the Tao Te Ching, remember we talked about it last week. And the Tao, at the core of it, it's this principle of doing, not doing. It's this way of being that says, I'm going to align myself with the natural impulse of the universe and allow it to move me, right? Okay, so verse 20, I said this to myself over and over again this morning. Stop thinking and end your problems. What difference between yes and no? What difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value? Must you avoid what others avoid? How ridiculous. And that's from, I know, isn't it great? That is from Stephen Mitchell's translation. And what I recognize is that at some point, I'm going to give you the example of the morning pages. So you guys, I've talked to you about the fact that I'm doing the morning pages from the Artist's Way. And the principle behind the morning pages is you do them consistently. And I think what she suggests is forever and ever, amen. But specifically 12 weeks. So in my mind, I decided that perfect equals doing the morning pages every day for 3 months, for 12 weeks, right? And so what would happen is I would get up, not do my morning pages one morning, and think, oh, I didn't do my morning pages. I guess that's over. I mean, I was doing them. I did it every day consistently for 2 weeks. And then one morning I didn't do it. And I went, oh, I ruined the whole thing. Right? And so this notion of perfection, not only did it keep me from not doing it perfectly, it made me give up because I wasn't going to do it perfectly. And then I realized, wait a minute. The morning pages, I can do them this morning. And they're meaningful every morning that I do them. And so what happens is, must you value what others value? Must you avoid what others avoid? Where did we get our ideas about what perfection is? Think about it. Where do we get these ideas? Who knows? And for me, in the morning pages, I got it because Julia Cameron said right in the beginning that you were supposed to do it every day for 12 weeks, right? But is that true? Is that true that it's perfect? And so the notion of I need to do it perfectly literally sabotages us from doing it at all, from progressing. And this notion that that perfect is about an outcome instead of perfect in this moment, doing exactly what you're doing, whatever is before you. Where did that come from? right? So think of, I wrote this question down. Think of something in your life that you're trying for. And for me, I have to say, and I bet this is true for all of us, a lot of us rather, my perfection stuff, really at the core, it's just about me being perfect. Like I'm trying to be the perfect version of myself, right? I'm trying to be the perfect version of myself. But if there's never been another myself, of course I'm the perfect version no matter what's happening, right? So it's this comparison, and that's what the ego does. The ego needs to compare. It needs a subject and an object, right? So even if it's me I'm comparing myself to, right? What's that saying? I'm competing against myself, right? Like instead of competing against other people, you compete against yourself. You're competing against yourself? Do you feel that? That's the ego needing an other so that it exists. It's just a thought, right? So the next one I want to read to you, and guys, the Tao Te Ching, the way Stephen Mitchell describes it is as a kaleidoscopic book. Oh, do you love that? Okay, and the reason why is because you turn it this way, you look at it from this perspective, you get this meaning. You look at it from this perspective, you get another one, right? These words are very powerful if you will sit and just open, right? Because they are written on your heart, as the psalm would say. This is the truth that is written on your heart. So together, this is verse 9. Fill your bowl to the brim and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife and it will blunt. Chase after money and security and your heart will never unclench. Care about people's opinion and approval of you, and you will be their prisoner. Do your work, then step back. The only path to serenity. Can you feel that? That's the striving for perfection. Keep filling your bowl, it spills over. Keep trying, right? What is perfection? What is perfection? Keep trying for that. And we live in this constricted state of being that doesn't allow us to experience the fullness and the mystery that is this moment, that is this now, right? So I'm going to remind myself. So perfection means no flaws, right? Is that what that means? And we just agreed that the human experience is a flawed one. The experience of being human is the experience of flaws. That's the way it works. So I'm going to give you another example, and we've talked about this before. So there is a divine, this is another way to put it, okay? There is a divine imprint of perfection within you. You like that? I just used perfect, and I said throw it away. But there is a divine, perfect imprint within you. You're already loaded and encoded with it, as Michael Beck would say, right? So if I am the acorn, within me is that beautiful, brilliant, divine plan and unfolding to an oak tree. It's already in there. It's my essence. It's the essence of the acorn. So let's say the oak tree is here. Okay, this is the oak tree, and I'm the acorn, and I'm back here. Okay, so if I step this way, and then this way, and then this way, oak tree's not moving. It's not moving. So no matter which way I step, it doesn't matter because the oak tree is stationary. It is not going anywhere. That divine imprint, that divine perfection, not going anywhere. It doesn't move. So no matter where I go, even if I step backward, right? It doesn't matter. The oak tree's right there. In any moment, I can get in touch with that essence, with that divine perfection within me, and let my natural impulses move me toward that divine perfection. And what I want to say about this time is I realized that oftentimes we get frozen in inaction. right? Like, because what we're wanting is the perfect next step. Not only do we want the perfect outcome, but we want the perfect next step to get to the perfect next step, or to get to the perfect outcome, right? And so we're frozen, we're waiting. And here's the thing, if we are one with the natural evolutionary impulse of the universe, if we are one with God, and all of life responds to us, if we're not moving, what's the response? If we're not moving, what's the response? So even if the next step is sideways, diagonal, that's diagonal, not sideways. Even if it's diagonal, it's a little sideways and diagonal. But even if it's diagonal, it's a step. And what happens when we take a step? It's an advert. It's like opening up. It's saying, it's the taxi cab with the light on. It says, I am willing, life. And any step we take, life responds to, right? And gives us the next one. So this idea that there can be some perfect next step to get to the perfect outcome, where did we come up with this, right? Where did we come up with this idea? How ridiculous, says verse 20 of the Tao Te Ching, the slide before, right? So what we know is, if we will move, if we will just allow ourselves to take any step at all, and our intention is for our highest good, and we allow ourselves to take any kind of step, we are inviting that natural evolutionary impulse of the universe to move us to the next place. So, this is the other thing. So I was talking to somebody else about this week. And she was telling me a story of, what she was trying to do. And actually, well, I won't go into the details, but she was trying to tell a story of what she was, of what she wanted to do. And it was I need to do this. I'm really trying to do this. I need to do this. And what we realized in talking to one another is she was already doing it. She was already doing it. And so I went, wait a minute, but what about this? And what about this? And she's like, oh yeah, I actually am already doing it. Oftentimes we have this idea of what perfect is, I need to, and we're hanging on to this story, I need to do this. And we actually don't see that we're already doing it. So this notion of perfection, like I got to get it, I got to become it, I got to do it. It actually, not only does it sometimes sabotage us from doing it, but it also hides from us the awareness that we're already there and that we got there. I used to tell this story. I used to tell the story that I am not a good friend, that Lydia is not a good friend, right? And so I would tell everybody, I would meet somebody and I could tell that we were beginning a relationship of a friendship, and I would go, okay, I just need you to know that I'm really bad at being a friend. And so I'm going to disappoint you and I'm going to upset you. And, and I have a thing where I'm not sentimental. I'm very thoughtful, but I'm not sentimental. So some things I just don't get, like greeting cards. I don't get them, guys. I don't get it. I don't understand why we do it. I just think it doesn't make sense. It's just paper and then you put it in the recycle bin. I don't know. So I know, and I would say to people, look, I'm going to disappoint you. Like, you're going to expect to get a greeting card. You're not going to get one, And so my story was, I'm not a good friend. And I was talking to a friend and I was saying the story of how I'm not a good friend. And she was like, that is just not true. You're a really good friend. And I went, wait a minute, am I? And so I started to ask myself, am I a really good friend? And I realized, oh my gosh, I really am a good friend. I was telling an old story of who I was. So that's the thing. We get this idea of what perfect friend looks like, right? And so I'm so distracted by how I'm not it that I just, I don't tell a new story. It keeps me from realizing that I already am a good friend in the ways in which I am. Am I a perfect friend? No. Will I ever be a perfect friend? Okay, maybe. No. I mean, that's the thing. This notion of perfection is just silly. It's ridiculous, right? So I know that if I will allow myself to not be perfect, if I will, which like today, everybody, like today. Yesterday, I didn't get my time, my mind palace time where everybody's quiet and I go into it and I work on, what I'm going to say to you on Sundays. And so I didn't get it. And so everything unfolding to this talk, the creative process, the whole thing, it was the definition of not perfect. Like the definition of not perfect. And so the whole way I was being invited to, I would sit down, right? And I would take my breath and I would meditate and I would have this brilliant thought. I mean, this is just full of brilliant thoughts that I'm sure I'm not conveying to you right now. And so I would have a brilliant thought, and right in the middle of the brilliant thought, my son would run in and go, "Mom, I can't find the keys." What keys? What keys? And I would get lost, and then I would go, okay, I'm going to allow this experience to not be perfect. I'm going to allow it to be what it is. I'm just going to keep going. This morning, I realized on the way here that I hadn't yet read the Daily Word, which is a part of my process in getting ready to talk to you guys. And so I thought, I know, I will call Nicole and ask Nicole to read me the Daily Word while I'm driving. And she did. She looked it up, and the site was down. Yeah, the site was down, right? I mean, I got here, looked in the car, and realized I didn't have 3 things that I had planned on bringing today. All of this imperfection, all of this not the perfect outcome or the perfect smooth getting here. And this morning, I'm sure that I haven't, explained the perfect narrative. No, woven was the word I was looking for. I'm sure that there is a better way for me to say what I said today. I'm sure of it. And I'm also sure that this is perfect, that it's okay. However I show up, if I show up with my essence and allow myself to be imperfect, allow myself to be as I am, do you know what that does? It allows you to be who you are. It allows you to be imperfect. It allows the people in my life to be imperfect. And so I asked myself yesterday, and I kind of sat with this, and I said, specifically about my spouse and my children, in what ways am I expecting their perfection? In what ways am I expecting their perfection? And I was stunned at what came up. Often we don't even realize that we've attached a definition of what the perfect spouse is, what the perfect child is, what the perfect mother is, what the perfect friend is, right? We came up with this definition at some point. It was crafted usually over time. And it's just not true. We haven't questioned it. And so we're living life on an incorrect assumption and missing the brilliance of the people in our life because we have an idea of what the perfect them would be. And the same is true for us. So in any moment where I can allow myself not to be perfect, I'm inspiring you to allow it in you. In any moment, I can allow you to not be perfect. We are naturally aligning ourselves with that impulse, that natural evolutionary impulse of the universe that ensures the unfolding of perfection. Because perfection is both a complete fiction and the only reality. It's a complete fiction, and it is also the only thing that's actually true. Because perfect is this moment. Your essence knows, your essence looks around and only sees perfection. Only sees perfection. Because that's all there is. But your ego looks around and sees perfection. And that perfection doesn't exist. Right? A paradox! I love paradoxes. Okay, so let's take a moment to just get quiet and experience the perfection of this moment, experience the perfection of who we are. We're just going to allow. So just take a breath. Pay attention to the air as it leaves your body. Notice the way the ground supports your feet. Notice how the chair supports your body. Perfect. I invite you to allow my words to be the words of your heart. I am sorry I have asked you to be perfect. I am sorry that I decided what perfect is and that you don't match it. I am willing to let go of the idea that there is some perfect version of myself that I am not. I am willing to let go of the idea that there is some perfect version of reality and that it's not this. I feel the burden lift from me. As I see the truth, the true perfection that is seen through my everyday existence. I am always becoming. I am open to see the ways in which I am progressing, the ways until now that I have not seen. I love you. You're enough. One more breath. And as you are ready, you can open your eyes. That is it. You know, when we were doing that prayer, and I forgot to change the slide, but that's perfect. You know, that's what we're doing in prayer. We are tapping into that essence, to the truth of who we are, and then we are allowing words to come. That's what I do there. I'm just allowing. And if and when you do that, one of the experiences that I've had is it is the most loving self-talk you'll ever get to. It is the place where you tell that self that you are that they're perfect and that all is well. And that is being in God. Living, moving, speaking, having our being in God. So remember, you're not Sally Smith. Not Sally Smith. You're not a collection of letters. You're not the content of your life. That's not who you are. Honor the content, right? Honor the content. Because that's what you've been given to do in this life, is to honor that content. But don't mistake it for who you are. Okay. So we're going to read the daily word. Some of us for the first time. All of us actually maybe for the first time, unless you guys went to the head of the class and read it first today. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, this is Daily Word. It is a Unity Worldwide publication. You can find it on dailyword.com. It's a daily devotional, and it has an affirmation. It also has an accompanying Bible verse. and just, a short devotion. And so today, Sunday is not Sunday, August 23rd. Today is Sunday, August 30th. Everybody, I'm just modeling to you that we don't have to be perfect. That's all this was about today. Okay, so the word is light, and the affirmation is the light of God surrounds me. Ooh, part of our prayer that we love. When darkness casts shadows in my life or in the life of someone I care about, I call upon the divine light that lives within me and expresses as me. Just as the light of the sun illuminates the sky, the light of God illuminates my mind, brightens my soul, and warms my heart. Even during life's darkest moments, the light of God is always shining within me, just as it shines within all people. Basking in this light, I find the strength and power to lift myself up. Through acts of service and loving kindness, I can be the light that helps guide others through any darkness they may be facing. Every smile, kind word, thoughtful deed, or offer of help has the potential to brighten someone's day. Also, greeting cards. Psalm 112, verse 4. They rise in the darkness as a light for the upright. They are gracious, merciful, and righteous. And again, the affirmation is, the light of God surrounds me. So let's do our vision together. A world powerfully transformed through shared spiritual awakening. And our mission, advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. And our values, abundance, acceptance, community, diversity, integrity, joy, and love. Oh, did you hear that? Tom did it imperfectly. That was awesome. Awesome. Okay, so we celebrate our children. Unity of Appleton sees the divinity in all children and nurtures their unfolding spirituality. We don't have a munching and mindfulness today, but I will just invite parents, if you are not a member of our community or have not, but are interested in having your child attend one of our munching and mindfulness that happens, it's about 30, maybe 20 minutes, 2 Sundays a month. Just reach out to us. You can email us. You can send us a message on Facebook, and we'll see about maybe connecting you. Okay, we're going to do our moment of gratitude. So what we recognize is that gratitude is the energy of our essence, and we can tap into that energy essence, that energy of gratitude at any time. And when we do that, we are dropping the oars, as Abraham would say. We are allowing ourselves to align with that natural evolutionary impulse to the universe. So I invite you to bring to mind a person, a situation, something for which you feel thankful. Find it, then smile, breathe, and in your heart and your mind say thank you. Thank you. We did it. Our affirmation of prosperity. So there should be in the Facebook comments a link to give a gift if you're inspired to. We are grateful for any gift at any amount is helpful to us. So you can click on that link, and it's on the YouTube channel too. And thank you to our community who continues to give and send in checks, and we are just so grateful. We don't have any news yet on mortgage, but things are getting exciting, everybody. So thank you so much for your continued support during this time. And let's do our affirmation of prosperity. Unity of Appleton is alive with the energy of spirit in the flow of divine abundance and radiant with unlimited possibilities. And our celebration of giving and receiving. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I joyfully give and willingly receive. I give in love, and I trust God as my source. Oh, I really overtalked today, everybody. Okay, we will meet back at 10:45. So grab your coffee and meet us for the chat. You can join us on YouTube, but you won't be able to chime in. So if you're not a member, it's okay. Switch over to YouTube channel. Members, I'll see you on Unity of Appleton members only Facebook page for the chat, and we'll do the prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All right, end of the slides. I'll see you on members only. See you on members only very soon, everybody. See you. Remember, you can join us on YouTube. End.